Welcome to episode 16 of the MMG podcast, and I am joined once again by Go Cubs.
What is sauce but slime with a purpose?
Wow, that's really fucking deep. My goodness.
Gonna
Oh,
let you gonna get lost in the sauce.
I, you know what? That really puts a new perspective in my life, and I agree. I
Without the
agree.
sauce, a man is lost. But the
Clear,
same man can
clearly,
get lost in the sauce.
look at all those Rick and Morty fans that got lost in the sauce.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's it was a that was a disturbing movement, and McDonald's really set themselves
Let's
up to
talk
fail.
about football.
Anyways, guys, welcome to MMG podcast. We're gonna be we have a lot to get to. It is our halfway point special extravaganza, whatever you want to call it, of the season. As we are entering week 9, half the league already has played 8 games. The other half will be playing their 8th game this upcoming weekend, which means everyone will have played half their season out of the gate, already done with. And it's kind of crazy that it's flown by this quickly, but that is not the biggest thing that's happening. Of course, we are coming off a day that was filled with trades, not anything that we've seen from the NFL in ever. I don't think. I think that there's been times where there's maybe 2 big stories regarding roster movements a month. Uh,
Yeah.
now we had a plethora, like at least 4 trades in the last 48
Huge
hours.
for today.
Yeah, and so we're gonna recap all of those after we get done talking about last week, and we're just gonna kind of try to breeze through week 8. Not a ton of close games. One game of the year candidate. The rest pretty much went as expected. Both of us did a really good job with picking games this week. Go
Yep.
Cubs went 11-2, only losing the Thursday night football game and his team chaos with the Lions losing the Steelers.
Eh.
I ended up losing my team chaos where the Texans barely lost to the Seahawks, and then the Redskins losing to the Cowboys as well as TNF. So let's just quickly recap some of that, and we're going to start with Dolphins at Ravens. Go Cubs! One word to describe this game.
What the fuck?
Okay,
All
that
one
was
word.
that. Okay,
All one word. No, no, there's no space between them.
okay, fair enough. So the Ravens, their defense is back. They're
Yeah.
the hallmark of their team is back. And the Dolphins are really sucking a lot of ass, and just seems like the team that was 4-2 that seemed like, how the fuck is this team 4-2 finally crashed down to earth, and I just don't know how they're gonna keep
And
on
now
winning
we know why
games.
they're why they I don't know what I'm saying.
You were gonna bring up a good. I think what you were gonna say was that now we know maybe why they were winning as many games, because they were just beating bad teams.
That's probably it.
Something along those lines. Maybe bad teams or at least mediocre teams. So
Yeah.
yeah, the Dolphins. I just there's no vote of confidence for me at all. They're
Nope.
not a good team, and the Ravens proved it. Nor do I think the Ravens are a good team. So just putting that out there. Vikings at Browns. Vikings. It was
It
kind
was
of
a close game for most of the game, and then the game ended how everyone expected it to.
exactly. Vikings, I think,
Oh.
pulled away in the second half, and made sure the Browns lost handily in London. Browns now have lost every game in the first half of the season. They're now on bye. They're looking in some way, shape, or form to turn things around. It seems too little, too late, though. Vikings
God, fuck the Browns, dude.
Vikings are 6-2, and are
Riding high.
one of 5 teams to be have at least 6 wins. So pretty nice company for the Vikings there. Uh,
Yeah.
Niners at the Eagles, another game where the Niners narrative that they play in close games kind of fell apart. It was close early on, but the Eagles easily pulled away for a nice victory over the 49ers. Did not kind of missed Jason Peters, but not enough to pull out a loss here. The Niners, once again, 0-8, and their future at least did not seem like it was going anywhere. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The, the Panthers at the Buccaneers. And yeah, this game went as expected. Buccaneers are trash, which is really sad considering how Hard Knocks, you know, they were the Hard Knocks favorites, I guess. They were considered playoff sleeper. And everyone loved their personalities and everything from the reality show, but just does not look like it's working out. Good passing game, but just nothing else good with that team. And Jameis Winston, I mean, like I said, good passing game, but he himself has not had a really great season either. Panthers 5-3. Defense has been doing a lot of the work for this Panthers team, as offense is still struggling big time. Bears at Saints. Saints take care of business. 2012. This game. Now this game was very, very close though.
Yes.
And,
but
go ahead.
A lot closer than I actually think that I initially thought it would be. The one biggest takeaway from this game as a Bears fan was tight end Zach Miller, who caught a touchdown pass, but because of the continuation rule, was taken away. On that play, Zach Miller also dislocated his knee, rushed to the hospital, and it wasn't a matter of saving his at that point. It was about saving his leg. He was in danger of actually getting amputated, but they performed vascular surgery right away, and he is currently recovering, which is good.
Yeah,
just the whole this game would have been so much closer. If that was ruled a touchdown, the dude fucking dislocated his knee, and that's why he didn't hold on to the ball all the way.
Right.
Very frustrating to watch.
And it's not even that he didn't complete the process of the catch. He did he did have it in his possession basically all the way to the ground when he was down on the ground. He just let go of it maybe a little bit sooner than others would, but
because his knee was dislocated.
Well, right. And I just don't think the refs made the right call there, regardless, even if it was someone that was not injured. And honestly, I mean, if that touchdown counted, it would have been 20-19 the final score. But then look back to
momentum is so different.
No, I understand, but even with at one point the Bears had to go for 2 to try to keep up with the Saints. If they did go for 2 and just kick the extra point on it, another play, then the game kind of would have been tied. I know the game would be completely different, but in this situation, that touchdown essentially changed the entire game, and the Bears would have been staring at 4-5 instead of now. 4-4 rather, instead of 3-5.
Right.
So, yeah, I think the Bears relatively played decently. The Trubisky still hasn't really gotten the momentum, but a lot of that is just because he just doesn't have receivers to throw to.
Receivers.
That's really the main storyline from the Bears this entire season here. So let's move on. The Falcons take care of business against the Jets and go on to 4-3. Both of these teams have had an issue with blowing leads a lot of the season, and it was the Jets that did it at home to a Falcons team that in any other situation the Falcons would be the heavy favorites. But the Jets, they played them close, but then blew it.
This is not a normal year.
Not at all. Moving on, the Raiders at the Bills. The Bills continue their home dominance, go to 34-14. They're 5-2, and they're 4-0 at home this season. And this team is just looking really good, surprisingly good, We all thought they were gonna tank alongside the Bills, I mean alongside the Jets rather. I mean neither of those things ended up being true, and the Raiders now down to 5 losses, and it's gonna be tough to climb out of that hole to even make a
Yeah,
wild card run at this point. Among I think the more overhyped teams going into the season. Moving on, the Bengals three are now 3-4 after taking care of the Colts. This was not a surprise. What was, I guess, more of a surprise was the Bengals really played the Colts close. I think the Colts were actually leading until the very end, actually.
yeah.
Um, and 24-23, the final score. The Bengals, I just have no faith in the Bengals. They're just a rough team to watch, and
Yeah,
I don't think that they're gonna have a lot of wins this season.
no.
Um, I I just there's no playoff hope, I think,
The,
with
the
this year.
2015 playoffs was their year, Chris, but then fucking Vontaze Burfict had to do that fucking dumbass thing that essentially led to a 50-yard penalty to get the Steelers in field goal range. Fuck that.
Yeah, Antonio
Yeah.
Brown. That Antonio Brown hit's gonna live in Bengals lore for quite some
Yep.
time. Chargers at Patriots. Patriots go to 21-13. And the Chargers just could not get anything going on offense. Or at least they tried to, but it just was not enough. Now the Patriots are sitting at 6-2 again, among the only 5 teams that have 6 wins. I still think the Patriots are not enjoying the fact that they're not dominating games. They're playing in a lot of close games, too close
Yeah.
to call games, but for the most part, it's gone their ways. Good like a majority of the time. So that if they could at least keep on winning those close games, that will matter come playoff time. The Texans at the Seahawks, the game of the year, and a shootout victory for the Seahawks. The Seahawks moved to 5-2, and the Texans, which feels like a team that should have a better record, is sitting at 3-4. But
Yeah.
the
If you
story,
look here, like they have a great defense, albeit injured, and they
mm,
just got their franchise quarterback, who's doing amazing. So you feel like they should be winning more games, but they're not.
right, and I can't really. I think the defense for the Texans is what the problem is. Actually, I mean,
Yeah.
their team has been great otherwise, but multiple times they let Russell Wilson get by with many rushing yards, and he kept on just ripping apart this defense in many ways. And I mean, giving up 41 points, that's not a good a good defense for the Texans. They're rushing, for the most part, like their defensive line is still like pretty strong, but it's still missing Watt and Merciless. Like those two guys being missing is significant. But regardless, Watson just broke the record for the most three most touchdowns in a 7-game span by a rookie, passing Kurt Warner. Watson now has 19 on the year thus far, and this was also both of these quarterbacks combined, or at least both had 4 touchdowns and 400 yards passing. It was just a really fun game to watch, back and forth, so many ups and downs, so many lead changes. Really, I definitely think a game of the year candidate for sure. Moving on, Cowboys at Redskins, a game in the rain, and the Redskins were just drowning in it. The Cowboys ended up winning 33-19 in what could be the last game that we see Ezekiel Elliott in for a long time. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The Steelers hold on to win a 2015 victory. It's not 2015. It's just that's the score. It's not the year.
22-15.
Yes. But the thing is, the Lions just their red zone opportunities, they had plenty, but
So many.
could not complete it, could not get in the end zone.
Yeah.
Never, I don't think got a touchdown in this game. I believe it was all field goals.
It was
Um,
all field goals, 5 field goals.
so just could not get the job done. Steelers defense deserves a lot of credit for that. Moving on, the last game is the Chiefs and the Broncos. The score appeared a little bit more closer than it actually was, and that was mostly because the Broncos defense was keeping them in the game. Um, but Trevor Siemian just had a terrible night, and
It was bad.
it kind of defines his season in a nutshell. And Vance Joseph is now looking at a potential quarterback change moving forward. Could start Paxton Lynch, could start the Brock
Athletic.
Osweiler. Uh, so either one would work. The Chiefs get their first victory since week 6. Uh, it's this, or sorry, week 5 actually was their last victory. Um,
Hmm.
and so I mean, yes, they dropped it against the Steelers, they dropped it against the Raiders, but they come back here and against a good defense is able to get the job done. Kareem Hunt did not have a strong game either. It really was just relying on the fact that Trevor Siemian was screwing up as much as possible, and Alex Smith is just having a MVP year. And still has did fumble the ball in this game, but never intercepted it or never got
Never threw an
interception.
interception. He has not thrown an interception in for like 16 touchdowns.
Yeah,
An insane stat.
pretty insane year for Alex Smith. Okay, so like I said, 11-2 for Go Cubs, 10-3 for myself. So Go Cubs once again takes the lead record wise, and nothing would have happened this week for me to catch up with points wise. He leads 29-23. So
Hell yeah.
so let's really quick. We got a few things that we want to touch upon. And we're going to start with the trade deadline that happened
Oh boy.
today. For Happy Halloween.
You
Now,
trade deadline.
of course, when you guys see this, it'll be Wednesday. I'm sure that doesn't really matter in the sense you guys, there's not really going to be anything big that happens with this, but in total, there were 5 major trades, and 2 under the radar trades that happened, at least since we last spoke. Let's get the underrated trades out of the way, or under the radar trades out of the way at least. You had the Chargers trade wide receiver Dontrell Inman to the Bears.
Yep.
And then on Tuesday, the Niners traded Rashad Robinson to the Jets. And so those are 2, like, all right, that's kind of what you expect during the trade deadline, right? Well, here's what happened. On Friday was the first bombshell. The Buffalo Bills trade defensive tackle Marcel Darius to the Jaguars. This was big because I was usually, I was thinking that they may try to weigh the market for a quarterback, maybe for an offensive lineman, but they feel like they can roll with Leonard Fournette as being the star of that offense, trying to make plays. They think that Blake Bortles will not make a lot of mistakes, which, I mean, granted, he hasn't made mistakes because I
Been
don't think,
better.
well, in the sense that they don't give him opportunities to make mistakes, I guess. So they figured out a way to kind of avoid Bortles without benching Bortles, which
Portal
is
up.
right, exactly. But this trade is quite insane because already, this team has been leading the league in sacks, has been one of the best, pass rushes in the league. And the biggest issue with them, though, has been stopping the run. They could not stop the run for the life of them, even though as great as their defense has been. They on both pass, like I said, pass rush and passing defense generally in the secondary. Marcel Darius brings that to this game to the Jaguars, a run stuffer who could also get in the backfield, could also add to the pass rush generally. This is a huge deal, and one of I think it's still, after everything that happened, my favorite trade that happened this during this trade deadline, because it just I just think it was a very risky move in a way for the Jaguars, because we don't know if Darius is going to be able to play at a high level, but it could be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So then
That's still all the way.
we move into Monday night, and while we're all distracted by this Chiefs or Broncos at Chiefs, we get our first drop of a shoe with Texans trading away offensive tackle Dwayne Brown to the Seahawks. Now, this guy has been holding out from this team for quite some time. He returned last week, he returned during the bye week to prepare for their game against the Seahawks, ironically. And many people felt like he returned just to showcase his skill set to the Seahawks, and I guess Seattle liked what they saw out of him, and so Texans send him over to Seattle. A huge acquisition for the Seattle Seahawks, who need as much help on the offensive line as possible.
Yeah.
I think a great pickup, and I don't think it hurts the Texans really, because they've been playing pretty well without Dwayne Brown. At least that offense has. So I think both teams will benefit from this overall. Now, here's the shocker. Not even like an hour later, or at least maybe like an hour or two later, the Patriots trade quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, no. I mean, you know what? Honestly, though, I would have not been surprised if it was Patriots trading Tom Brady to the 49ers. One, it's his hometown team in San Francisco, and two, they may feel like Tom Brady is he's aging, and they want to go with the younger guy with Jimmy Garoppolo. But this is the better deal. What?
It was a better deal for the 49ers. I think it was the better deal overall for both for the 49ers getting Garoppolo, and because the Patriots are still in a position where they're definitely playoff bound, and potentially Super Bowl bound again.
Right.
And they need someone who knows what they're doing.
Well, right.
If the Patriots were 2-6 and not 6-2, then trade Brady.
Oh, absolutely. Now, what I'm saying though too is, I don't. Well, first of all, I'm just saying that I would not be surprised if they pulled that shit, because they think it's just the Patriots, because they have this weird methodical way that they think. But
yeah,
I don't know if I love this trade. For either team actually. Like I'm intrigued by it, because look, Jimmy Garoppolo, he's been playing relatively well. Or he was playing relatively well in his two starts that he played for the Patriots. People say, I know that some football analysts that I respect a lot have said that they saw Garoppolo as a franchise quarterback in those two starts, and he was 2-0. He has not lost a start. So, I mean that's all fair and good.
Can't argue with that, math.
But it is a very small sample size. And I would just like to see how he does with the Niners. He does have Kyle Shanahan. That's going to be very interesting. And then on the Patriots side, I get giving up on Garoppolo, because there was going to be no possible way that you're going to pay big money for both of them. But I think that anything can happen. I mean, I think I see both sides of this. I think it could be beneficial for the Patriots, because they get a draft pick out of him. But at the same time, Tom Brady, he's been playing out of his mind, But you never know, especially with the way that the offensive line has not been playing well for the Patriots this season. You never know when he would be hit badly at one point and be injured, and instead of Jimmy Garoppolo, who could have been the replacement for Brady down the line, you're gonna have to rely on what will probably end up being Brian Hoyer, which
Brian Hoyer, yeah.
I know that we have praised Hoyer in the past,
Surprise!
but he is not a viable quarterback option going forward.
Not for the Patriots, who have had 17 years of the greatness that is Tom Brady.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and especially like I don't know. You fell today for a story that said Patriots signed Colin Kaepernick.
There was a lot of hype today. I was just like, oh shit,
it
was believable.
You were not alone. Peter King himself, I know, fell for it. I saw quite a few bigger personalities fall for it. There was a lot of people that fell for that story, but that's an interesting option to have as your backup quarterback if you want to go there. I just saying, and just any there's just not a lot of backup quarterback options where you could say, yeah, that guy's gonna be our future quarterback. That was originally Garoppolo, but now you sent him to the Niners. Now you don't have that option anymore.
All that I'm saying, I'm not saying that Kaepernick is the greatest quarterback who ever lived. All I'm saying is that Kevin Hogan started a game this year.
Well, correct.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Right. And look, I just don't. But even if you do sign Kaepernick, I don't know how long term that is. So unless they see someone maybe in this upcoming draft where they could pinpoint as maybe a franchise quarterback that they could sit on the bench for a little while behind Brady, and then when he finally retires, bring him in. Like if they felt like they could not do that with Garoppolo anymore, then that's fine. But you need to find someone, and you need to start developing them. And you have to get ready for it, because what Tom Brady is doing is unprecedented, and I respect it wholeheartedly. But one bad play and one bad hit by whoever it may be, but defensive lineman, he could be injured, and he could be out for a while, or he could be out, unfortunately, permanently. I hope that doesn't happen. That would not be the way that Tom Brady should go out. He should be going out with a Lombardi trophy, or at least go out with some sort of pride, not by injury, So I just putting it out there. I do like the idea that they got a draft pick out of him. They didn't just let him go in free agency. I like that the Niners are trying to have him be a franchise quarterback. It would be interesting to see if he turns into one. But we'll see what happens. But that's, I think, one of the more interesting trades, and I think the most surprising trade, because many people were so adamant of that Garoppolo would never, ever, ever leave the Patriots, and he ended up doing so. And of course, in a corresponding move, like we mentioned earlier, Brian Hoyer was released by the Niners. So it would be Garoppolo and C.J. Beathard going forward. Then we wake up early Tuesday morning, and Jay Ajayi of the Miami Dolphins is shipped to Philadelphia to help a backfield that has been quite inconsistent. Even with LeGarrette Blount and Wendell Smallwood making plays as much as possible, neither of them have really been able to keep it going every single game. And Jay Ajayi will bring a pass protection side to him, and maybe will finally get his act together after a slow start to his 2017 season. Very fascinating pickup.
I was really surprised to see this trade, because he was honestly, in my opinion, the only hope that the Dolphins had.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not only is this like the Eagles solidifying their Super Bowl run, but it's also a sign that the Dolphins are just giving up.
Right. I mean,
that's how I see it.
Many people perceived it as Adam Gase trying to send a message to his locker room, like, no one is safe. you better start playing well, otherwise you're going to be out too. But I don't know how that really freaking helps your football team, because especially like look at this in this perspective. I think someone on Twitter brought this up as well. You know, he's trying to push this method that you need to give a shit about what's happening. Really need to care. But you're in the off season. You sign the guy that's known least for giving a shit, and that's Jay Cutler. So why the fuck do you expect people to it just seems like this Dolphins team, they had to deal with the hurricane. They had to deal with like Lawrence Timmons, like leaving the team and then coming back after a suspension or whatever. There is a lot that this Dolphins team has had to deal with, but overall it is just not good. Whatever is happening, it's not good. They need to kind of move forward into 2018 at this point, because I just don't think you're going to find any solutions right now. They could absolutely contend in 2018, but just not at this moment. This is just not good. And I don't know how much trading Jay Ajayi really will help them moving forward. Unless they could think they could find another running back, in the upcoming draft, which they could. They very well could. But I don't know. I felt like they could have given Jay Ajayi a little bit more time. This was only his second season really as a starting running back for them. So
yeah,
it was a little weird. And finally, nearing the trade deadline, we got one last drop, one last blockbuster. Kelvin Benjamin, no longer a Carolina Panther, is traded to the Buffalo Bills, and he now joins a bunch of former Panthers. Sean McDermott, head coach, formerly the defensive coordinator. Brandon Beane, formerly in the front office of the Panthers, now GM of the Bills. Fullback Mike Tolbert. So a lot of familiar faces in Buffalo when it comes to Carolina. And Kelvin Benjamin has not, like, compared to like a lot of like Jay Ajayi, like, who has not had as strong of a 2017 thus far. Kelvin Benjamin has had a pretty decent season. I mean, the offense as a whole has not had a great season, but Kelvin Benjamin has been playing pretty well. And if you look at his numbers, like, they are very close to the entire Bills wide receiving core combined. In terms of receptions and receiving yards.
The Bills got a huge asset, and this is going to be someone who I feel like is going to be used a lot on this team.
Right, and he's not going to be someone that's going to be like super fast for them. His size mainly, and his just being able to catch the goddamn ball, is just going to be enough for this team to move the sticks and be able to just get have a better have a better opportunity to pass the ball more often than having to just rely on the running game. They've been just having a great success with running the football, but they need to be able to pass the ball as well and have reliable receivers, and Kelvin Benjamin provides that. So that is really significant. That's in the span of the past 4 or 5 days or so, that is 2 first-round picks. Marcel Darius, I don't know if I forget if Dwayne Brown was a first-round pick or not, but Marcel Darius, who was like the 3rd overall pick in 2011, and Calvin Benjamin, who was drafted in the first round in 2014, now on different teams, now living different lives, and
crazy. I would also like to bring up a pick that didn't happen.
Yes, I'll let you take this away, for sure.
So I'm going to start the statement with "fuck the Browns."
For sure.
The Browns and Bengals decided and agreed on a trade to send A.J. McCarron to Cleveland from Cincinnati, he's Cleveland's backup quarterback and has shown a lot of potential, and a lot of people Bengals.
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry. There's a lot of B teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the Bengals, and McCarron has been in talks a lot, just with trades in general, just because people see a lot of potential in him, and he's shown when he has played should be pretty good. Um, the only thing is, the Browns did the most Browns thing imaginable and didn't submit the paper. How do you fuck that up?
I mean, you can't really justify it. Also,
You're trying to just save your goddamn season, and well, you can't save this season, but well, like you're trying to get a quarterback to move forward and someone who's going to play better than the three messes that you have right now, and you don't fill out the paperwork in time and sell in time. You deserve your record.
yeah, and there's that sense, and there is. I do want to point out on this front. I actually had to write an article for my website that I was I had to do a little bit like extra looking into some of the reporting on it, and Cleveland.com reported that the Browns actually did sign, but what happened was they sent it to Cincinnati for them to sign. But then at that, I think then the league office got the deal with only the Bengals signature and not the Browns signature.
Okay.
So, not saying the Browns couldn't have been, a lot faster with they. I think the Browns deserve all the criticism in the world. I think they are ultimately the ones to blame for this, but there is a part of me, a little like the tiny conspiracy theorist in me that says, oh, they completely took the Browns hook, line, and sinker, made them think they were gonna get a quarterback of the future, and then tore it away from them at the very last second. Had to have them scramble to see if they could finally get the deal done, but no, it was too late. 4 p.m. came and passed, and the Bengals laugh themselves to sleep at night while the Browns cry and have really moist pillows.
I don't think that's what happened, Chris.
But would it be a surprise though? It's a division rival that you are trading with. Like how very rarely do you see division rivals helping each other out and
Right.
giving each other assets.
Yeah.
So I don't really. I understand the Browns wanting to do it. I don't understand the Bengals what their point is in doing it because they kind of needed AJ McCarron. He's played well enough where if Andy Dalton went down with the injury, he could step up and he could make plays for them. I don't understand trading him in that instance, and so to me, the only way to justify their moves is that they were completely, bullshitting the Browns the entire time. Now, the Browns should know better. First of all, they should have gotten Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know what fucking...
They should have gotten Jimmy Garoppolo, Carson Wentz, and Deshaun Watson when they got the chances.
Right.
Just don't even bring that up to me.
Yeah, like they all of them should have been picked up beforehand, and this last ditch effort to get AJ McCarron from a division rival. I mean, it's just the Browns are as desperate of a franchise as humanly possible, and I mean, look. People also brought up that there's a chance that Bill Belichick has some hard feelings for his time as head coach of the Browns. That his last season with the Browns was when the team moved out of that city and went to Baltimore, and
Right.
he was fired alongside with it. So I completely understand that there might be some vendetta there, against them. But why would you hold that against the Browns? I feel like you would hold that against the Ravens, who was the original Browns organization. And also, I just don't... I don't understand that logic. If you can get draft assets for a guy that you're not going to end up keeping anyway, why wouldn't you just trade it to the Browns anyway? So that makes me think...
They wanted to see if Belichick wanted to see if the Browns would be desperate enough to give them a first-round pick.
Well, right. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the Browns should have taken that deal. I mean, look, they have 2 first-round picks again this year. Why would you not at least trade one of them for a guy that you like? Hugh Jackson has said over and over again, or at least it's been reported over and over again, how much he likes Jimmy Garoppolo. Why would you not make that move? The Browns
are destined for failure, and they're not going to have a winning season before 2020.
Which I'm sure will be quoted when the
Wait, you
2019
don't have a winning season.
when the 2019 Browns win the Super Bowl. That will be quoted again and again.
I don't understand the words coming out of your mouth right now.
well,
You're
you know
speaking nonsense.
that is, but just saying because
I know what all of those words mean separately.
I look. The 2019 Browns could absolutely be a Super Bowl champion because it looks like the 2017 Rams could be a Super Bowl champion. So
Look, yeah, but the Rams have had success since the year 2000.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But then you look at the Bills. I mean, the Bills are a prime example. They could be a Super Bowl champion this year.
Yeah, but
They haven't
Chris,
had success
you
since
can't be
since
this
the
bad for this
90s.
long and then suddenly be good.
Yes, they can. Absolutely go because they can. I mean,
But not the Browns. Everyone else, like, look.
I get it. I get it.
Everyone else hasn't been as bad for as long as the Browns.
Yes, I agree, but this league is weird, and I just you have to keep an open mind on that front. You never know. I mean, it's
Chris, I would 100% agree with you on any other team.
but it's the Browns.
You know me.
Yeah.
You know me.
Yeah. No, that's. I mean,
but
that's the goal in life is
the things that are happening in Cleveland. Just the quality level of players. The decisions by the head coach not to go after certain people.
Or general
and
manager.
Not have Carson Wentz or Deshaun Watson right now is just, it's ridiculous in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying that this team, that this franchise is not as dysfunctional as possible, but I'm going to bring up the Buffalo Bills because this team over and over again has been talked about as being a dysfunctional bunch and how everyone hates the owners and how they had a terrible roster coming into the season, but they're 5-2. I mean, I get it. It's the Browns, and I think that anything can happen, and one good decision could finally turn it around. Look at like a team like the Patriots. Like, sure, the Patriots had 2 Super Bowl berths beforehand. They didn't ever win them. They were actually blown out in both of them, I believe. But they were such a shit franchise before one decision to hire Bill Belichick and one decision to draft Tom Brady in the 6th round that ended up creating a dynasty.
Yeah.
So who can say that one decision might not happen for the Cleveland Browns? I mean, you never know. It could. Is it 100% gonna happen? No, it probably won't happen for years and years and years and years, if ever. But it is certainly has happened before to a franchise. I could see it happen again to another.
I see your point, but
it's the Browns.
It's the Browns.
No, yeah, I totally get that, and they're just a shit organization that needs to dig out of that shit pile for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Now, after all that trade talk and all the Browns talk and everything, we need to talk about good teams. And we, at this halfway point, we
wait. Are we gonna do the picks first, or are we gonna do the Super Bowl first?
No, we're gonna do Super Bowl picks first.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try a filibuster for both of us here because I have to kind of solidify mine as well. But this has been and will probably continue to be one of the weirdest seasons that we've seen out of the NFL, especially with this trade deadline shaking up so much and adding so many assets to contending teams. This is a very hard decision to make in terms of which 2 franchises we think is going to make it to the Super Bowl. We're going to each propose our own picks, of course, our own individual picks. We're going to see how accurate we are. Um, but I don't know. I look at 5 teams in the AFC that could potentially go to the Super Bowl. I look at 5 in the NFC that could potentially make it to the Super Bowl. And between all of them, it's just very, very difficult to pick because I'm like, all right, so there's something good about this team, but then oh wait, they lost that game and they looked kind of bad on that front. They have this weakness, but oh wait, they have this strength that that has been so dominant and all that. So there's a lot of there's a lot that I have to think about when I'm making my pick.
I am curious what teams are. You don't have to say them now, but maybe afterwards. But like what the 5 teams from each of the leagues are.
I'll say it afterwards because
Okay.
because it might be ridiculous when I say it out loud, but it just because based off of the performances thus far from all of them this season, I just think it makes sense, and there could be more than that even like because you never know. This has been again as I've said like just a topsy turvy season. So it's been very difficult. Do you have your Super Bowl picks? Do you have?
I have my Super Bowl picks.
Okay, so how about go
Had it
ahead?
literally all day.
Yeah, you I feel like you spent more time on this than I have. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of faith that you'll probably get it very close, or
I
at
don't know,
least try to.
dude. We'll see.
No, right. I mean, you never know, but let's see because you last year predicted Raiders Falcons. Of course, the injury to Derek Carr, kind of ended that Raiders dream. But you were
Yeah.
correct. You nailed it. You nailed the Falcons right on the head. So
Yeah.
what? Let me see.
I
What
have
you
I
got
have
this year?
pretty good NFC luck.
Yeah, and this is not going to affect like point total or any competition. This is
Yeah.
just let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can predict the Super Bowl at this point. So
All right.
let's go ahead.
So I'm gonna start with the teams that I was actually considering for each of like just after how the season like had been going, and especially after the last week, the 3 teams that I was considering. I'm gonna go with 3 teams for each one, each conference, just to try to narrow it down and give my thought process.
Mm.
So for the NFC,
Mm.
I was thinking between the Vikings, the Eagles, and the Rams. Actually, the Rams would have been, I think, the longest shot out of all these, and the Eagles being safer ones here.
Mm.
But this morning kind of just solidified it for me which team I think is both the strongest in the league right now and definitely for sure the strongest in the NFC. So on the NFC side, the Eagles are going to make it to the Super Bowl.
Okay. So the Eagles thus far.
On the AFC side, I think that the Patriots are going to make the Super Bowl this year.
You don't think it's going to happen?
I don't think that's going to happen.
What? Give me your reasons why.
They haven't been as dominant as you would expect them to be. They've been really good, and they're one of the only teams with 6 wins. But I think there are a couple surprises in quote unquote surprises, I guess, in the AFC that could upset that from them. And those 3 were the Steelers, the Chiefs, and of all teams, and I know we just kind of had a conversation on this, and of all teams, the Bills. And like, if something happens like later in the season, like Patriots versus Bills, and the Bills end up winning, like win the division over the Patriots, like that's a possibility that I kind of can see this season. I'm not really sure.
Absolutely.
But and I can dig the Chiefs. I think they're good. Alex Smith is fantastic. Kareem Hunt is great. Hasn't had his best games recently, but is usually pretty solid on how he with how the Steelers handled the Lions with it, which is really good offense, but never letting them score.
Mm-hmm.
That was really impressive to me. I'm gonna go with a Pennsylvania Super Bowl, Eagles versus Steelers.
Eagles Steelers. I like it. And yeah, I was that was actually one of the more top possibilities for me when I was thinking about mine. Um, and
I don't care if you choose the same ones as me, but
no, that was, but I think that's a good pick. And I'm going to defer. I'm going to explore other options too, though, because
okay.
here's where I'm at. Because like you have the only with three, I have five on either side.
Right.
That actually did not include one of the teams that you brought up here. So
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
first on the NFC side, um, I have the Eagles, the Saints, the Vikings, the Rams, and the Seahawks. Seahawks, I think, just got a huge acquisition in Dwayne Brown, and but I think the biggest concern for them is they gave up 38 points to Deshaun Watson, and that offense that's clearly showing that the Seahawks defense is as strong as we once thought they were.
Yeah.
Now, the Saints have been quite a surprise thus far this season, playing really well on defense. Offense hasn't been really getting going a lot. I could see them going, winning the division and maybe going, maybe one or two rounds into the playoffs. I don't know if I see them making it to the Super Bowl. So now, narrowing it down to three, we're back to where you were, where it was the Eagles, the Vikings, and the Rams. And just because, this team, or all three of these teams have they have so many different aspects to them. The Eagles that they have Carson Wentz playing at a very high level. They now just got Jay Ajayi. The defensive line is playing really well. You have the Vikings, whose defense as a whole is I think the best in the league right now, or at least close to it.
Yeah. Totally.
And despite Case Keenum, he's been having a pretty simple and pretty easy season. Actually, he's actually doing pretty well.
Yeah.
All things considered, they could get Teddy Bridgewater back. I don't know if he's gonna have the immediate turnaround as some might think. I mean, he might have to adjust to it. But if he could play like he used to, he was a very accurate passer. So I think there's a lot of hope for him going forward. That would be really interesting if he comes back. And then you have the Rams, who are, they're just this young, fun team, and both on offense with Todd Gurley, Jared Goff, throwing to Cooper Kupp and Gerald Everett and all these rookies, and you have a young defense. Aaron Donald just playing out of his mind, of course. So there's a lot to like about all these teams, but there is something about the Vikings this year that I'm starting to really like. They haven't really played anyone huge in recent weeks. Not anyone significantly, but there's something about the Purple People Eaters that I am really loving. And if Teddy Bridgewater ends up coming back, which they think he might come back after their bye week in week 9, that he might return, and if he plays well for this team with as great of weapons as Diggs and Thielen have been, the running game actually getting better after Dalvin Cook went down with the injury, and the defense playing as well as they are. I get it, the Eagles have been great, but they've also been giving up a lot of passing yardage and stuff. And I don't know if the Eagles, with the loss of Jason Peters, could stop Everson Griffin and stop Daniel Hunter and Linval Joseph and all these strong defensive linemen. There's something to love about this purple team, and they got a chance to play at home in the Super Bowl, I say. So that's the Vikings. For the AFC, we have the Steelers, the Patriots, and the Chiefs, as you said. And I didn't include the Bills because I felt like there was a lot that the Bills don't that they have a lot going their way luck wise. Not that they are a great team. I do think that they are a really great team, and then I think that they have a great chance of making the playoffs. But they've had a lot of passes go their way, a lot of batted balls go their ways. A
The
lot.
Bills honestly were just gonna be my like if I just wanted like a lot of fuckery going on.
Right, Rams and Bills in the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
right? Who knows? But the Bills, they've had a lot of fun this season and all that. But again, I just don't know how long that luck is gonna last for them. But I look at two other teams, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I'm looking at two AFC South teams that have a potential of making a run right now, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I truly believe that Marcel Darius trade is going to matter, because now you have I think I know I just said a lot about with the Vikings and their defense, but the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is really gonna be really good now, and they're good. That's gonna be the best aspect of their team, in addition to Leonard Fournette, continuing to run the ball the way he has been, continuing to put up as many touchdowns as possible. Chris Ivory is also a great back who filled in for Leonard Fournette a few weeks ago against the Colts, and he's played really well. Blake Bortles, like I said, they haven't really given Blake Bortles an opportunity to make a mistake, and they should keep it that way. Doug Martin has done an amazing job with this team, and so this team could be Super Bowl bound if they don't make a lot of mistakes going forward. And I'm going to say the Texans because Deshaun Watson is playing unbelievably, breaking records left and right, and easily, I think, as great as Kareem Hunt has been, he's been on the decline the past few weeks. I think he should be considered for the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And just to turn this offense for the Texans that has been so miserable to watch. I dreaded watching Texans games. They were just so terrible to watch. But now they're fun and exciting because of Deshaun Watson. The defense concerns me, and I think that's why I'm not going to end up putting them in the Super Bowl. But if they could continue playing at a high level like Watson has been doing, he's going to be, first of all, he's going to be a star going forward, and I think they could make some damage in the playoffs if they can make it there and if they can win. Get back into a winning record, though. They're the one team with a losing record that I have in this mix right now because all things considered, that they are they have the most talent, I think, out of all the losing teams to make sure that they could get back on the right track and pull up and make it to the playoffs. So I have faith in them. Now, with all that being said, I think that the best team right now, the best AFC team right now, I think, is the Steelers. I think that their defense has been playing really well. Their offense, is getting back in the groove. Juju Smith-Schuster is shock for this team.
Yeah.
And I think his lost bike is really fueling his drive there. And I really like them. And I'm not gonna pick the Patriots because that's just an easy pick.
Boring.
It's a boring pick. And I do want to pick the Chiefs, but their struggles the past few weeks have concerned me.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to pick the Steelers. So that means
you're gonna pick the Jaguars.
Vikings, Jaguars, Super Bowl 52. You know what? Because I just think we've seen this before. We've seen a defense, and we've seen it with the Ravens. Way long ago, in the year 2000, they had Trent Dilfer as their quarterback, with who did enough to get the job done, but it was really that defense that just destroyed the Giants in the 2000 Super Bowl, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think, if they can stop being so goddamn inconsistent with their games, that's really the only thing that's holding them back is just the inconsistency in their winning. I think they take care of business against the Bengals. We'll talk about picks in a little bit. I think they take care of the Bengals. Say again?
We still have to do picks.
Yeah. I say they take care of the Chargers a few weeks later because, look, if the Patriots defense could stop the Chargers, so could the Jaguars. And I think they start just picking off teams one by one down the stretch. And I think that they could stop any offense in the league, shut them down. And I that's why they're going to be my Super Bowl pick. And you know what? The only reason I'm doing this is because I just want a fun pick. Just because picking amongst the Chiefs and the Steelers and the Patriots. I mean, Chiefs probably would have been fun, but again, I just don't know if I have a lot of faith in them. And those are the three teams that have been playing so well in the AFC lately. Let's have someone new. Let's go Jaguars. Saxonville, baby.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So it would be a defensive battle, and so it might not be an entertaining game, but it'll be fun. One of those teams gets to win their first Super Bowl ever. So there you go.
Yeah.
So let's pick games. This is. It feels like a whole year has passed since we picked games. I apologize for my ramblings. Anyways, let's start with Thursday Night Football. The Bills at the Jets. The Bills looking to continue momentum. The Jets looking to hold on to a lead for once. Go Cubs, what do you think?
I have the Bills here.
Yeah, Bills are I think just the better team right now. And a lot of fun to watch.
I actually think, like I said, I think the Bills are division contenders.
Indeed, they absolutely are. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and stick with the Patriots always win the AFC East. Yes, they do, but I think this is gonna be give them some good competition. The Bills are gonna win.
Yeah.
Moving on, Rams against the Giants. Oof. This is just not a good team to be facing right now for the Giants coming off of a bye. Both of these teams are actually coming off of a bye. Rams are hot, but they do have to travel to the East Coast. Go Cubs, what do you think?
Are you seriously suggesting that the only hard thing for the Rams in this game is that they have to travel to the East Coast?
It has happened before. It's been a concern for teams before.
I think the Rams will be fine. I think the Rams are going to win.
Yeah, the Rams are going to be fine. Look. When I talk about these games, I have to hint at some kind of possibility, that could bring down the other team.
Right.
It's very hard for me to see the Giants winning that one. Anyways, Ravens at Titans. Ravens coming off a great defensive performance, but can they stop the Titans, who have not actually looked as great as offense as they should have been? What do you think, Go Cubs?
You can stop me if you don't think this is true, but right now, like if the playoffs started, the Titans would be in the playoffs.
I will stop you right there.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
Well, here's where I'm. When you say the Titans are going to make the playoffs, you mean the team that won the game against the Browns 12-9?
I'm just saying mathematically.
Okay. Yes, fair enough.
Yeah.
That is math wise.
Yeah, mathematically, the Titans would be in the playoffs right now.
Yes.
And the Ravens have not been that strong on offense recently.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I'm going to put the Ravens over the Titans, and if you'll let me, I'm going to count this as team chaos.
I will do that. I'll do that because I think.
Right.
I think the Ravens is still considered shitty. I think a lot of teams or a lot of people still feel like the Titans are the sleeper to win the AFC South, and that's it shouldn't be considered that at this point because the Titans just have been a very sad, disappointing team for me. But yeah, I would call that team chaos.
All right, cool.
I'm actually going to pick the Ravens as well. They're not going to be my team chaos.
All right,
but they are. I just think right now the Titans they are coming off of a bye. I think that kind of will fuel the Team Chaos, vibes of it all. Where they could finally get back together on offense. They could finally, you know, get something together. I mean, their defense played well against the Browns a few weeks ago. This is a team that absolutely could get back in the mix, but I just don't know when that is going to happen. They haven't shown me when that's going to happen, and it was just an embarrassing performance. So a few weeks ago, so I'm going to go with the Ravens just because I that's just a team that I have a little bit more faith in. Ironically,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be my Team Chaos. I have a better pick for that one.
Okay.
Not to shit on you for that, but
All right.
You'll probably win this Team Chaos, by the way, and I'll probably lose mine, so don't worry about it. The Buccaneers at the Saints.
Is this your Team Chaos?
No. This is the Buccaneers have completely. I am abandoning the Buccaneers for this season. They've betrayed my loyalties as well. Both the Buccaneers and the Titans just completely shall my expectations, and I'm very saddened by them. I want to ignore them for the rest of the season until they're finally good again. I'm picking the Saints.
Saints.
Yeah, that just.
No question.
Yeah, it's stupid. Anyways, Broncos at the Eagles. I mean, do we even have to?
We don't.
I mean, the
Broncos. They don't have a reliable quarterback right now, and they're the Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles. The only again, if I had to put an argument out there, it would be the Broncos defense has played really well, but I think the Eagles are gonna win.
They did just let up 33 points to the Chiefs, which have a good offense, but still.
Right. Well, 29 points actually, but yes, I get that. I mean that. But they did have a lot of great stops in that game. So
they also lost to the Giants.
Yes, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But the Eagles,
you're bad at it.
The Eagles are gonna win. Bengals at Jaguars. The AFC cat ball.
Yeah, AFC cat ball. I wish there was a game later on that would be between the winners, but I don't think there is. I'll have to check on that.
Bengals at Lions. Lions would be the battle. Panther. Did Panthers?
I think Panthers won.
Panthers won. Yeah, so never mind. Because the Panthers won't be playing either of those teams.
Yeah. All right, go ahead with your pick. I'm gonna find out who won this game.
Okay. Yeah, as I said earlier, I have a lot of faith in this Jaguars team that they're finally gonna stop being so goddamn inconsistent, and they finally win some football games. I'm gonna look back at the 4-12 Jaguars and regret picking them for the Super Bowl. But I right now I have faith in them. Jaguars win it.
Yeah, I have it too. Jaguars are a really solid team right now. They're a really solid defense right now with a pretty good offense, especially with Leonard Fournette. And I still think my preseason prediction that the Jaguars are going to win the AFC South is somehow going to come true. So I've got the Jaguars.
Oh, I think it's definitely going to come true.
Yeah.
I think I'm very excited for Jaguars Texans again whenever that happens, because now they have Deshaun Watson. The Texans have Deshaun Watson for an entire game now, in which he's developed into one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now.
And I knew he was going to be.
We all knew. I mean, those who watched in college knew. I mean, you know it when you see it. Damn it! No, don't listen to the scouts. Anyways, Falcons at Panthers. What would have been a very fun division game. I mean, it still is. They're 4-3, 5-3, so these are winning teams. But neither of these teams have been really fun to watch. Not a lot of high expectations for either of them anymore, at least, because they just kind of disappointed thus far. What do you think, Cubs?
Even with losing, even though they just traded away Kelvin Benjamin, I I like what the Panthers are doing right now a bit more than what the Falcons are doing, especially with how dominant the Panthers defense is versus how abysmal the Falcons defense is. So I've got the Panthers here.
Yeah, I've got the Panthers as well. This is just not a good scenario for the Falcons.
Not a good year for Matty Ice.
Yeah, not. I mean, this is at home, and the Panthers' defense is still playing really well. Panthers easily. Colts at the Texans. These. I hate the fact that the Texans have only one more win than the Colts do. Like this is just so weird.
Because this is not a fair matchup at all.
It's not a fair matchup at all, and I feel like the Texans are a playoff team, potential Super Bowl team, and the Colts are not even close to that. But go Cubs, go ahead and pick that.
Unless you're gonna call bullshit on me again for this one, I'm gonna lock the Texans over the Colts. Fine, I'll choose a different one.
No, I don't know. I don't know if Colts have anything in them to take down this Texans team. Like, I don't know. It's tough. Lock it up, and I'll deal with it.
Okay.
I
can lock a different one if you want me to.
Do you have another lock in mind?
There's one that I definitely could do. Like, I could just say Jaguars.
You think the Jaguars will beat the? I like that lock a lot. A lot better.
But then, all right, I'll do that.
But if you're more comfortable with that one,
or at least Texans over Colts.
Well, yeah. It's true. But I meant in the sense that, like, if you are comfortable with locking up the Jaguars, then do it. But if not, then I will just stick with your pick with the Texans. Because I'm thinking about it right now. I think, like, you can make the argument that locking up the Texans right now, especially with this record, especially with how bad, not how bad, but like how they've been giving up a lot defensively. Like, I think you can make the argument that the Texans could lose this game. So I would just lock up this game then.
Okay. It's not a very strong argument, though.
Right. I mean, the only reason like I feel like when you talk about guaranteeing a game or locking up a game, you want to have that, like, slight bit of, like, an edge to it where it's like,
okay. In that case, I have another one.
Okay.
I'll do a different one.
Okay. Fair enough. Because at least I try to do that. I know that there might be a time where I borderline on, like, all right, come on, like, do you really expect this team to not win it? Like, I try to be, like, on the edge of, like, I'm gonna lock it up, but there is a chance that it might not go the way I want it to. So that's how I at least perceive it, anyway. But anyways, let's move on. Redskins at the Seahawks. Redskins just injury prone. I can't believe I picked this goddamn team over the Cowboys last week. I had this idea that that they were going to be a little bit more healthier than they actually were. They were missing like half of their defense, and it was just not a pretty sight. And I don't know what that situation is going to be like against the Seahawks team that just got a ton better. And with Dwayne Brown. But who knows what could happen here? What do you think, Go Cubs?
Will you let me lock up this one?
Yes, absolutely, I will.
Seahawks.
Yes, because the Redskins are one of those frisky teams that I could absolutely see beating a team randomly like the Seahawks. Absolutely. And by the way, I don't mean to, like, just randomly shit. You have every right whenever I lock up a team to call me out on it too, because I think. I think this is like, it can be a fair game no matter what happens. That we can, that we can have, like, that discourse where we're like, wait a minute, hold on a second, don't pull that shit. But I don't think it was a terrible lock for the Texans. It's just you never know. I just I just think the Texans are just so good right now, regardless. But
Yeah.
the Seahawks I think is a good pick against the Redskins team that could have a better record than they actually do, especially if they get a little bit more healthy. Now, I'm gonna pick up this. I'm gonna pick the Seahawks as well. Um,
Okay.
Cardinals at Niners. First game without Carson Palmer for the Cardinals. They're gonna have to rely on Adrian Peterson, who did not look good at all against the Rams. Um, Larry Fitzgerald, who he's gonna really have to take up a lot. He's gonna have to really carry this team. Without Palmer, and then the defense. I think the really strong suit for them is gonna be the secondary, and maybe Chandler Jones. Um, but you do get a chance to play a Niners team who's winless, and who's given up a lot of points despite this team also having some great defensive moments, and the offense not playing as well as it should be either. What do you think, Go Cubs?
You know what? I think that this is going to be the 49ers' first win.
You think it's going to be the 49ers' first win?
Yeah.
Well,
I think.
go ahead.
Do you want me to explain?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Jimmy Garoppolo's starting this game, right?
No, he's not.
He's not.
He's not.
That changes a lot.
But you know what, Cubs, before you say your pick, I'm Team Chaosing the 49ers
Okay.
because this Cardinals team, I loved this Cardinals team a few years ago. This season, it's a complete mess.
Yep.
Palmer's going to be out for a long time. Johnson might not return this season. And you're looking at an Adrian Peterson who is aged and unfortunately just had one really good game against a bad Buccaneers running defense, and then got the wake-up call against the Rams. They face a Niners defense at home. The Niners are at home, who, yes, in the past few weeks have given up a lot of points, but that was against Zeke Elliott and the Cowboys, and an Eagles offense that's just high-flying. No one can really stop them. I think the Niners have a chance to stop Drew Stanton. All right, there's a chance.
Yeah. I was feeling pretty confident about this. I'm still gonna choose the Niners. Which is funny that both of our team chaos, like the other person chose anyway.
Yeah. Would you be willing to flex team? Would you like to dual team chaos with me, or you feel like you want to keep the Ravens as team chaos?
I don't know, because
keep in mind, there's not any risk of adding the team chaos. Either you win it, you get the extra 2 points, or you lose it, or you just lose that game.
I'll keep it.
You're gonna keep it with the Ravens. Okay, fair enough. Because but I'm glad that you're at least you're in the same ship with me. Because I just think the Niners, yes, they're not going to have Jimmy Garoppolo this week. They're going to have to probably wait until after the bye to have him start because they need to get him ready. But I think that this team could do enough at home to beat a Cardinals team that has no business being this close to 500. In the sense that they're just not. They don't have a lot of personnel to really work with outside of Larry Fitzgerald and like some players of defense. Like Patrick Pearson, Tyrann Mathieu, and Chandler Jones, and that's really it. So, going with the Niners. Anyways, Chiefs at Cowboys. Man, one thing that we didn't discuss was that Ezekiel Elliott. It looks like that the 6-game suspension is going to remain.
Finally going to happen.
Probably. I mean, I would be shocked if anything does end up occurring otherwise. But it looks like this is going to be the first game that Elliott's going to be missing. And so now the Cowboys get to host the Chiefs. They get to have the home game. The Chiefs have been inconsistent as well, but the Chiefs also are 6-2. and this is going to be an important game for them to win it, to get a victory. What do you think, Go Cubs?
I think that the Chiefs add on to their AFC West dominance right now and take up the win in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, this is
not a hard decision,
and it's also not an AFC West battle, of course.
No, but like just the Chiefs are dominating the AFC West.
You mean the NFC East?
Like their record will go up, and therefore they'd be winning more.
Yes, okay. I'm.
And the other teams in the AFC West aren't that great right now.
Yes, yeah.
So it sets them apart even more.
Yeah, okay. I just, for some reason, the way you were phrasing that, I just
you got it.
was not realizing what you were saying at all. Okay. Anyways. Let's move on. The Raiders and the Dolphins on Sunday Night Football. God, could they have flexed this goddamn matchup? Put Bengals Jaguars Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Don't put the Raiders Dolphins up on here. Anyways, Raiders coming off a loss against the Bills. Dolphins coming off a loss against the Ravens. So one's gonna get to a 2-game losing streak. One's gonna get a win that's probably not gonna matter in the long run. But we'll see what happens. Go Cubs, what do you think?
Oh, you're actually listening. You cut out, so I wasn't.
Oh, sorry. I'm
my internet.
I'm here. I'm just waiting for your Raiders Dolphins, the coveted pick.
Record, but is really bad. One of these has be bad, but should be good. And I think the team that should be good is going to win. So I got the Raiders.
Yeah, I say the Raiders win, and I'm guaranteeing locking it up against the Dolphins. A team with a losing record. Going up against a team with a winning record that really should not have a winning record. I think both of these teams just are not at the level they should be. But like you said, the team that should be playing well, the Raiders, should get this victory, and I think they do it tonight.
Yep.
So guaranteeing that. So very interesting. So have we agreed on every single pick to this point?
If we have,
that's pretty surprising considering Team Chaos's and guarantees and everything like that. Let's see. Well, let's see Lions Packers here before we do anything else. Before we celebrate this momentous occasion.
Yeah.
Lions 3-4, Packers 4-3. Packers obviously still without Aaron Rodgers. Are going to be at home. They're coming off a bye here, so maybe Brett Hundley has adjusted, but you get a Lions team that, I honestly could not get the job done in Pittsburgh, in Detroit, but against Pittsburgh. They certainly were in the game, certainly could have played well. What do you think, Go Cubs?
Well, if Aaron Rodgers was healthy, this would be a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Has so much going for it, and even though they didn't capitalize in the red zone against the Steelers, I think that's more telling of the Steelers than it is of the Lions. So I think just with how much the
You there?
Lions,
there you go. we got like the little soundbite of the Lions.
Lions.
There you go. And you know what? Let's round it out. I'm picking the Lions, and we have just agreed on every single game.
Fucking hell.
But
that helps me more than it helps you. So
right, essentially. But while that anything could happen though in terms of like team chaoses and guarantees like that's I guess really the competition this week is to seeing how many points we end up losing or how many points we end up gaining from certain picks. All right, it is 11:51 at night. I I have to get to bed soon.
Yeah, skip Hollywood Stars. We won. We're probably gonna win next week because the dude I'm facing doesn't check his record.
Yeah.
But I think he's still somehow like, let me see his record. He's still 4-4. So what the fuck?
Yep. I hope you pull it out, and it'll be a good story for next week. We'll talk about all that. I'll give you some extra time to talk about it next podcast, but we have run out our time, done our damage. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Be good to one another, be kind to one another, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
World Series.